a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Great lineup for you today here, as always. Jason Coble, attorney Jason Coble in studio. We also have Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group. We're going to talk about financial firms lured to the South. There's a lot of firms that are leaving, of course, New York and some other states headed for the South. Also, the S&P downgrades several U.S. banks. How's that affect the investment markets and your retirement? And also, should you pay off your mortgage early? We're going to talk with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, about that. And President Trump to skip GOP debates instead, and he's going to interview with Tucker Carlson. Very interesting movement there. And also Sequoia Capital and BlackRock. We're going to analyze their ties to and funds. They're funding the CCP. So before we do, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. Part of our strategy to help sellers sell faster for more money. We have a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, online at platinumcoastalelite.com. And a couple of hot listings here. We got a new listing in Lakeland here, 3573 Rain Tree Circle. Beautiful property in Polk County over in Lakeland. This is a nice home that we just listed. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1760 square feet. And you got a lot of new features as well. Light fixtures, LG refrigerator, dishwashers, stoves, range. $45,000 in updates and upgrades throughout the entire home. 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, beautiful property, 3573 Rain Tree Circle in Lakeland, Florida. One of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team. Set you're showing up today. That's a new one that just got listed. We did a major price improvement also at 861 Mandalay Avenue on Clearwater Beach. This is a gorgeous beach property if you're looking for that second home, maybe to move on to the beach. This is on the north side of Clearwater Beach, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. And this is a beautiful property with sleek quartz countertops, open floor plan, stainless steel appliances. You have a charming pergola in the backyard as well, outdoor kitchen, just a gorgeous home. And the best part is you're only 200 steps from the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Clearwater Beach. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com. That's right. Shout out to our veterans, first responders, all the folks out there keeping us safe. Greatly appreciate everything you're doing. Also, got a new partner here, Salty Arrow Charters. Now, check this out. Have you ever gone fishing? Of course, many of you have. You've done offshore, inshore fishing. But check this out. If you're watching our TV show version, maybe a YouTube video here, Rumble video, you can see the boat. It's set up. This is Salty Arrow Charters, and you're bow fishing from the boat. So you're standing up on a platform with the lights glowing into the water, and from there you're able to shoot fish from the boat. It's pretty cool. Salty Arrow Charters on Instagram. Check them out. My friend Bobby does a great job. We enjoyed it. We had a great time. And you go out at night, so 8 p.m. You go out and enjoy the waters here in Tampa Bay, catch some fish, shoot some fish. Fun times. All right, Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, welcome back in.
Welcome back. Thank the Lord that's football season.
Hey,
gives
us
something to watch again, huh?
I joined a fantasy football league this year. I normally was passing on that stuff, and I'm like, I might as well do it. It's a bunch of our buddies and folks within the Keller Williams network and stuff like that.
It's fun. I mean, I enjoy college football better, but fantasy keeps me in NFL.
Right.
I mean, if it wasn't for fantasy, I probably wouldn't even watch NFL, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I love college football, so
yeah, they make it easy. It's all automated. And,
it's fun. It's good times.
And I was just kind of going through some of the old episodes of Ballers, sort of fun kind of a cool series with The Rock Johnson.
Absolutely. It's a good show, actually.
Yeah,
very good show.
Tell us what you had in mind today. You're our financial expert for the show, folks. We always talk about supporting the local economy, supporting our local area expert contributors. Mark Haye is the man and the guy for everything finance related. What are you seeing out there, Mark?
Yeah, well, today we're going to talk about, should you pay off your mortgage early? A lot of times we have that question asked all the time. And we sit down and kind of just go through what it is that you're doing and trying to accomplish. So if your mortgage is $3,000 a month and you're sending in $5,000 a month, so that's $2,000 extra.
Yeah.
Because we're going to pay this off, because we're taught in the last 35, 50 years, put money in a 401k, pay your mortgage off as fast as possible. And here we are today, and people are struggling. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and they're just not getting wealthy. And it's just frustrating, you know. And so when you give that extra $2,000 a month to the bank, and I'm just using that number just for simple math, but
Sure.
you give that extra $2,000 a month to the bank or whatever extra, if you ever want that money back, you got to go back to the bank and say, I need my money back, and they're going to charge you an interest rate at whatever that interest rate is at that time, whether it's 8, 10%, whatever,
Yep.
to get your money back.
And points and fees.
Yeah, and they don't give money to people that need it. They give money to people that really don't need it. So if you're in a situation where you need money, it's really hard to go get that loan again. But let's say you get it. You have to loan it from the bank. So what we tell people is if you want to put the extra money away, put it in a wealth creation account that earns 10 times more than a savings account, stays liquid. You keep your cash so that when an opportunity comes that you want to maybe buy another property or a business, or maybe you want to do something different, or you need the money.
Or the car breaks down.
Yeah, car breaks down, or you need the money, or you lost your job, or whatever happens, that money is still accessible to you, and you now are in control of your asset. Now, if you continue to do that and just save and save and save, and it earns 4 or 5%, let's just say a modest rate, eventually 8-10 years from now, you're going to have money in that fund of money to just pay the mortgage.
Right.
And you can certainly do that. But what happens is once you have that money and the mortgage over time, as 10 years goes by, that payment is less and less because of inflation. That payment stays the same.
Right.
You with me? So if you're $3,000 a month today, 10 years from now, $3,000 a month doesn't feel like $3,000 because of inflation and everything else. Now all of a sudden you take that money and say, I want to buy an investment property, or I want to get into Airbnb. I want to do something different. And all of a sudden now you're now creating wealth, more passive income.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then a lot of people during the COVID era got mortgages with very, very low interest rates. 3%, 2.5%, 3.5%. And so we tell people all the time, if you're at a 3% mortgage, okay, and we can go safely make 4 or even 5%. After tax net, we can make 5%. That's 2% positive every single year. How many times would you do that?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to do that as many times as possible because you're going to create passive income and cash flow, etc. So we always tell people, I would not pay this off early. I would be in control of your money. Don't give it to the bank. Not to mention you do get a deduction, a write-off from your interest, on your mortgage. So you're eliminating that if you do pay off the mortgage early. You're giving the bank your money. Now they're in control. And then another scenario we give people is take two neighbors with identical houses, identical mortgages, identical payments, etc. The person to the left, person A, pays off the mortgage, and they're paying more and more money into it. So they're paying the mortgage, and they're adding to it, okay? The other person is just paying the minimum, and they're putting the money away into a wealth creation account or saving that money. 10 years from now, 12 years from now, both of them lose their job and can't make the mortgage anymore.
Yeah.
Which house do you think the bank's going to take first? They're going to take the one with all the equity, the one that you put all the extra money into, because what can they do faster? They can turn around and sell that then get their money.
Profit.
The person that didn't pay it off and just pay the minimum, the equity is a lot less. So they're not going to turn around and sell that house as fast as possible. They're going to try to work with this person because there's no equity in there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
Loan
if you just look at it from a standpoint of, okay, if something happens, they're going to come and take this house, and all the money that I put into this, they're going to get out of equity because they're going to turn around and just sell it, get their money back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the banks are not stupid. They tell you to take the risk and get return when they're taking zero risk. So instead of paying the bank extra, pay yourself extra, and we could certainly show you then how to pay that off later or develop another passive income with investment property or a business, etc. Some clients will come to us and say, look, we have this chunk of money. Our mortgage is $300,000. We just got this money sitting in the bank. We're just going to pay this mortgage off.
Right.
Whoa, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, again, if your mortgage is 3%, and I could tell you, okay, we can go make 5% or 10% on that money, you could keep your $300. The money works for you. The interest pays the mortgage. Now you have the house plus you have your $300,000 making more than what the mortgage is.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't even matter. I tell people if your mortgage is 6-7%, it doesn't matter. If we can safely get the same thing, 6 or 7, let's just say you break even, why give the money to the bank? Keep your money.
It's the same thing too. When I talk to people about buying a property, they're like, "Oh yeah, well I'm just going to put, I'm just going to pay cash for it. I'm just going to put all this money down, even if it's closer. Worst case, better case would be like just do 50% or 80% because then you're still going to get the qualifying rates. You're still going to get great rates, but you're not tying up your equity. You're not cash poor. You have that cash available, and it makes a lot of sense to do it that way.
Yeah.
We're talking with Mark Haye here, 21st Century Financial Group, local financial advisor, can help you with all of your different questions concerning to this. Another area too is the area of, hey, I've got a kid, I'm looking to put it in one of these college prepaids. You pointed that out to me as well. That's another fallacy that people have, that has limitations. Doing it the other way is a better way. You have access to the capital.
Correct.
You could borrow against it if you needed to. You're building up
equity. Exactly. So if you're a business owner as well too, so not to say that a Florida prepaid is not a bad idea, but you do lock your money up. You don't have access to it. They have to stay in Florida to utilize that. And maybe they don't go to college, which I think just graduating, going to college is kind of an old way of thinking anymore.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think that you necessarily need to go to college anymore, unless it's like, hey, I want to be a doctor. I want to, obviously.
Engineer, yeah.
You got it. But there's so many opportunities to go off and just do your own thing, as far as business ownership, et cetera.
Yeah.
But yeah, you put it in a wealth creation account for your kid. I mean, that money stays liquid. It grows safely. It's free from taxation, protected from creditors. If you want to use it for college, guess what? It doesn't go on college grant applications. So now you get grants.
That's a good point.
Whereas if you put it in a Florida prepaid, you're not getting grants. You save money that goes on the grant application, and grant's going to go to somebody else. So you want to be able to get as much as you can in grant money, keep as much as you can. And that's how you do it. Now, a business owner then could also take $13,000 a year from the business, deduct it, give it to the kid. The kid gets it tax-free. Again, there's so many different things you could do with kids and businesses and college planning.
I like it.
That are way better than a Florida prepaid.
Yeah, you pointed that out to us. That's really smart stuff, Mark. One of my pet peeves right now is how the ruling class, the elites in this country are benefiting our adversaries. The CCP is the main one I'm talking about. And luckily, thank God, there's guys like Bannon and Navarro and some of these guys that are in front of this, because my day job is selling real estate, closing deals, making the paychecks, right? And of course, a radio talk show host here, 6 days a week. But I wanted to play this clip just to get some insights from you, because you are a non-woke advisor. Hopefully it's okay me saying it that way, but none of your investments, your dollars aren't going to go to these woke ideologies and these companies, these big hedge funds. But check this out. Here's Navarro on a clip I'm going to play.
To your investigation into BlackRock and MSCI, into funneling American dollars into companies, that fund the CCP, how do you define those kinds of companies? As part of this investigation, are you trying to define those companies? Because it seems like a lot of companies fall into that category, and that could affect a lot of American investment, not just through BlackRock and MSCI.
Via the investigation, we're trying to more clearly define what is the line. Now, admittedly, that's something that reasonable people can disagree upon, but I always have a few simple principles in mind as we consider this question. First, don't fund Chinese companies working for the People's Liberation Army. I think that's most obvious, right? We don't want to be allowing U.S. capital to fund military equipment.
So anyways, that goes on and on, but you get the point, right? That's what our country's been doing. That's what a lot of these guys. And then Larry Fink, wasn't it funny to see him pivot, though? Because he sees, again, the outlash, the backlash, similar to Bud Light, Target, the school boards, the meetings with the mama bears going in, and, of course, the papa bears, too. But isn't it sad that we're at this point in our country where we have to really start thinking about where our institutional and even state governments, right? So Florida, Ron DeSantis here in Florida took our dollars away from some of those funds, right?
Yep, and that goes to the point we've talked about too. When people invest in their 401k, et cetera, there's mutual funds, and inside the mutual funds are companies that you know nothing about.
Exactly.
Being one like CCP, being companies maybe that you probably wouldn't get behind if you knew that. Yeah. And so that's where I come in and say, look, if you don't know what you're investing in, first of all, that's a mistake. You should know the companies that are invested in. Secondly, if you're not having fun doing it, then don't do it. Right. So it's a few different things, but yeah, they're sneaking all that in. Yeah. So here's this mutual fund. It's great. It's international. Okay, what's it in? CCP. No one knows that. Party. Yeah, people don't know that.
And the CCP, by the way, if you don't know, they are modern day slavery. They've got over 1 million Uyghur Muslims in slavery, creating all your new products, all these iPhones, everything that people buy. And it's just a sad deal, man. It's a sad deal that our elite ruling class did that over the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s as they pumped all these jobs overseas, did all these different trade accords, these climate deals, and the climate cult's behind it, of course, big time, which is the biggest hypocrisy of all, because they're ruining the environment by mining these precious minerals, all these different things that go into the chips, etc. We got to take a quick break there, Mark. More with Mark Haye coming up on the other side of this break. 21st Century Financial Group. Hey, reach out to the hotline. We'd love to connect with you, put you in touch with Mark or any of our other expert contributors. 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707 and consumerqb.com. We'll be right back. More with Mark Haye coming up.
Hey, everybody, it's the captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
At consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's our strategy to help sellers sell faster for more money right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Feature your listings live on air as well. If you've got a property sale, vacant land, commercial, residential, and you'd like to have us feature it, just reach out to platinumcoastalelite.com, platinumcoastalelite.com. All right, here's a couple of hot listings here. We've got some beautiful assets available for sale. 11722 County Road 672. 11722 County Road 672. What we've got here is a single-family home. You've got acreage as well, close to 20 acres with multiple palm trees, landscaping trees, citrus trees as well as a warehouse. You've got a warehouse that you can back your truck right up to and deliver all of your fruit to wherever you're selling it to, trees and fruit. You got a 100-foot by 40-foot warehouse. 11722 County Road 672 in Riverview. Just over a couple $1 million listing there from the Platinum MVP team. All right, we got another one here at 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B. We got a two-car garage here at Bardmore. This is in Carrollwood, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, and a two-car garage, 2,100 square feet, impact windows, beautiful remodel done on the kitchen. We are getting staging put into the property here soon, and 5-person jacuzzi tub. Beautiful property with banana and avocado trees that are bearing fruit right now. 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B, Carrollwood, Florida. You can see all of our listings online. PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, a couple of quick stories I wanted to get to. Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, financial advising expert. All right, so financial firms lured south. This is I pulled this off of LinkedIn. A migration of firms from financial capital in the Northeast and the West Coast have given industry a new presence in mostly Sunbelt states, predicated on a desire for lower taxes, warmer weather, and cheaper mansions, writes Bloomberg. More than 370 investment companies representing $2.7 trillion in assets have moved their headquarters during the pandemic, mostly to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina. As a result, finance professionals no longer appear unserious for being somewhere other than New York or California. New York still remains a leader at $25.6 trillion under management.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's been flooding the blue states for a while. You know, Illinois, New York, Jersey, California, they've been leaving in droves.
Yep.
That being said, you do have all these institutions like BlackRock Investment, et cetera, buying up real estate. And I saw something the other day that by 2030, it's going to be close to 50% of all homes are going to be owned by these institutions.
I saw that too, yeah.
So what the problem is, it just knocks everybody else out.
Yep.
So a middle-class family or just a family in general can't really go get a house anymore because you're competing against these billion-dollar companies or even million-dollar companies. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You know, it's just you're going against something that you can't compete, and they can make the price wherever they want. They can make the rent wherever they want. They don't care. They can let it sit because they don't care about the money because they have plenty of money over here. They're not just a mom and pop.
Well, let me say something too on that. A lot of times when a family's buying, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, couple of kids going to buy, they have to finance. They're in a position where they think they have to finance, right? We've got within our company, we've got some opportunities for a cash buyer to fund that and then finance it later. So we can help buyers compete right now. And as part of our buyer packet, we're going to make an offer here in a moment. If you want to figure out all these different strategies that we have, how do you get your offer accepted? And it is still a low inventory market. Reach out to the show and we'll get you our buyer tips. We've got a top 10 list tips for buyers, things that we can do. That we have companies that will do renovations and get paid at closing. A lot of cool things, some for the buy side, some for the sell side. So reach out because you don't know what you don't know in many of these cases. But yeah, that's a good point, Mark. And then also S&P downgrades U.S. banks. S&P Global Ratings downgraded 5 U.S. banks and signaled a negative outlook for several others late Monday, citing tough economic environment for lenders, higher interest rates affecting funding and liquidity for many lenders, the consumers and businesses now able to earn higher returns elsewhere. Downgraded banks are KeyCorp, Commercia, Valley National Bancorp, UMB Financial, Associated Bancorp. What's your thoughts?
Yep. I mean, I'm not a big fan of banks. That's why I tell people, keep your emergency fund in the bank. 6 months, everything else should be out. Wealth creation accounts, investments, whatever. But if you look at, and you really want to get irritated, you look at banks, and they charge you to be in a checking savings account. They give you next to nothing.
Yep.
Then if you want a loan for a mortgage, they're going to charge you that interest rate, whatever it is, 7-8%. Plus they're going to charge you PMI. Plus you got to put down 10-20%.
Points and
you
fees.
get it. Then they're going to take your money. Eventually, if you don't pay, they're going to take back the house. They're going to sell it. And when they did mess everything up, they're going to come to the taxpayer and take our money to go bail them out.
Bail them out, yeah.
I mean, then people would say, well, I'm going to go invest with the bank. I don't understand how you're not pissed.
No.
You know, when you think about it. And then the banks want to tell you, take more risk to get better return, and they're not taking any risk. 40% of their cash is sitting in cash value, which we tell people all the time, do what the banks are doing. Instead of putting all your money in cash at the bank, put it in your wealth creation account. It's the same thing they're doing.
Yep.
And then you take that money and you go do something with it like the banks are doing.
Yep.
But the problem is the banks are getting away with, here's $1, and they're lending it to 4 different people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. And it's collapsing it, and no one's regulating that.
The reserve requirements.
You got it. So if you can give $1 out to 4 different people, and then they all want their money back, there's no money.
There's a run on the banks.
There's a run on the banks. So they don't have the funds. So the problem is the banks are doing things all wrong because they know that when they get messed up, they're going to go to the taxpayer. Taxpayer's going to bail them up, and they already took our money.
Yep. So what do we do about it, Mark? How do we contact you? What's your plan?
Well, contact us 727-804-7220 and have yourself start earning interest and not the banks. And we could show you how to do that. It's so simple. It's very, very simple. But 727-804-7220.
And what's the web?
XXIFinancial.com.
All right, find them online, set up a meeting, set up a review too. If you already currently have something in place and you say, hey, this guy's doing good for me, it's a friend of mine or family member, you never know. Get the review. Just like we mentioned last week with Dwayne Bischoff, our CPA, get the review. Have him look back 3 years. You might have some money there that you didn't know about. Who doesn't like found money, right?
Exactly.
So
Stop tipping the IRS.
There you go.
Please.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, they're carrying guns now too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brandon.
My pleasure. Absolutely. And we're going to come back more with the show here. Jason Coble coming in. Attorney Jason Coble, highly respected attorney here in the Tampa Bay area, and he's handling some high-level defamation cases with national companies as well as local workers' comp, injured workers. I've got a couple of stories I'm going to touch on. Tucker Carlson he's going to reflect on Iowa. It's a cool clip I found on Charlie Kirk's show. Tucker on the disconnect between voters and the ruling class and the political class. Also, we're going to talk about lawfare. What's this new term that's being thrown out? Lawfare and this attack against President Trump. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.